welcome back to the RC barn, and look what showed up today. So I ordered, I'll just give you a little thing here. There's Boca bearing. Not a sponsor, bought these myself. Anyways, I tried to save a little bit of money and ordered from a bearing place that was about half the cost of Boca. Boca can be a little on the expensive side. But they're very good at what they do. So I ordered some bearings from a place in California. I don't even remember the name of them. That said it was for a moki 210, and they showed up and they were like a 1/4 inch in diameter, not these big things. Yeah, I got them. They're underneath there. They did give me a refund on them, so that was good. So the first thing we are going to do is, I thought we was getting non-sealed bearings, but I guess we're not. So I'm going to sit here and pick these seals out. That's what that little line right there is. We don't want that, I mean, they weren't sealed in there from the factory, so we're not going to seal them. So I'm going to do that, but I also got my, I don't know if you guys can't really see it here. I got an oven here. This is what I use to heat stuff up. So I got it preheating right now to 350. And then we're going to go ahead. I never did get that damn carburetor housing off of there. I don't know why it is just glued in there like you wouldn't believe. So we're just going to leave it sitting there. But the nice thing about the moki is and like Super Tiger engines, the front snout comes off, so we can really easily put some bearings in this thing. So I'm going to let this preheat and then let it get nice and warm. And then we'll stick these in the oven for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes till they're warm. You are going to need to take some precautionary tails when you do this. Give me 1 second, I'll lift my up glove over here. I like using this UV glove. I don't know if you guys, that's what they're called, the UV glove. So anyways, I like to use these to handle, because you're going to have to handle this. So you put the glove on, and then, this thing's going to be 350 degrees. And you can handle it. And then we'll get a hammer and smack the bearings in with a hammer. So once I get to that point, we'll get there. But first I'm going to get the seals out of these bearings. So anyways, I'll bring it back in a minute. Alright, so since I got this kind of figured out, I got the back one popped out. There is some lubrication in there. I just basically started with my pick here. Show you how easy these things come out. Try to get underneath of it. Dent it. Do whatever you got to do to get it out of there. And then I took my flathead and just, I don't know if you can see that, it just pops right out of there. So we want that out of there. Trying to go into as much detail as I can, because I noticed on YouTube there wasn't a whole lot of videos about mokis on YouTube. I mean, yeah, they're out there and they're running. Maybe we don't need the pick. So I thought I'd go into a little bit of detail here in case you guys want to rebuild your own moki one day. I would hope you would. They're great running engines. There's that. And I talked to the rep at Boca Bearing. Now you can leave, this is the front snout bearing, and you can leave that in there. Now that'll make for a cleaner engine, but I prefer them to be gone, not in there, because that way you know that this thing's getting lubricated. So like I said, it wasn't sealed from the factory. Now this is basically your own idea, but if you do leave the front seal in there, make sure you put it in the right way, because these bearings get lubricated with the fuel you use. That's why you put oil in them. And so you got to expose at least the rear on both sides, because that's going to be sealed up in there and you won't be able to get to it. And you don't want to run your bearings dry, because otherwise you'll just be right back at it again, spending another $35. So anyways, go get up underneath of it. Boom, gone. So what are we going to do now? Well, these are tight tolerances and these get basically pressed in. So heat expands, cold contracts. So we're going to stick these. There's a reason why I got a fridge over here. I'm going to stick them in the freezer while this thing is all heating up. So we'll put them in the top. And this thing feels like it's hot already. Oh yeah. And then we're going to heat this whole thing up. Now, you can, I used to have a clip on there. I'll get a clip to hold that. My lid doesn't stay sealed anymore. So, anyways, I'm going to let them heat up for a while. Now, you could put a temperature gauge on the snout to make sure that it's nice and warm. 350 degrees seems to be about the magic point for expansion. The reason why you do it this way, you just don't heat the snot out of it with propane torch or whatever like we did when you remove the bearing, is because when you're putting this stuff in, you want everything to move in this at the same rate. So we'll stick that in there. We'll let it sit and cook for probably about a half an hour. And then when we pull it out, we'll quickly put the bearings in. I already got a 2x4 here. I'll probably just set this on the table and maybe find a smaller one, and I'll get a hammer over here, and it should basically just fall right in. And then, you know, of course, with the heat and the bearings being frozen, you have to work quickly. So, anyways, we'll let that sit there and cook for a little while, and I'll bring it back when I go to start assembling. Oh, and I did already snag the piston and sleeve inside there, and that was after it cooked for a while. I don't think I showed you this, guys. I mean, yeah, I got some staining on it, but I mean, the top of the piston came pretty clean. You can see that in there. And I don't try super hard to get this thing spotless. I don't want this to look like a brand new engine. The crank came out pretty nice. I don't know if I showed you this in the disassembly video. I mean, look at the head. I mean, that was a huge turnaround. And I did use some after it cooked in the crock pot overnight. I did have some gunk that I wasn't able to get out, so I highly recommend Dawn Power Wash. You know, you can get it. You can also get refill bottles for this, and that stuff works great. You spray it on there. You might get a toothbrush out and get rid of some of the stuff, and then you rinse it off with water, and you got a clean engine. So, anyways, here's the back plate. I didn't cook that because it didn't look too bad to me. So, yeah, it probably had a pump on it at one point in time. So, anyways, I'll bring it back when that stuff's all done. Alright, so it's been about 25 minutes or so. I just stuck a piece of, I don't know if you can see this or not. Sometimes you just got to use what you got laying around, and I had a piece of landing gear wire standing on one bench, and then my big aluminum block sitting here for a weight, and that kept my thing nice and tight, so, or nice and closed. So I'm going to take it out and we'll try this. I'm going to point you down here towards the workbench here, so you can actually see it going on here. So let me get a good camera angle here. I think we'll probably be in this area here. And so I'm going to go ahead and stick my glove on. And since I'm going to probably want to hit with my left hand or with my right hand, I'll grab it with my left here. So yeah, this is a nice little heat sink, isn't it? So we got that. Then I want to make sure my bearings are, I've already checked them once and they're nice and cold. So I think we'll start with the snout. And this is going to happen really quick, hopefully, and it falls right in. So boom. Already hear it. Yep, see that? And then down in there all the way. I always want to use a piece of wood. Got that in there. The other bearing. Hopefully it's staying warm. It should. What? Sure she's in there all the way. She is not. Dang it. Like I said, you gotta work fast. It's probably a little crooked. There we go. There it is. You can tell you're in all the way when you hit the bottom base there. Okay. So there we go. Bearings installed. In fact, I'm still not quite happy with that. Ideally, it looks like it popped up a little bit on me. Now we got her. You want to make sure you give her a couple good whacks and get her down in there and make sure it's square. And then we're going to let this cool off a little bit. Yeah, she's still quite warm. And then I almost wonder if I can get that. Probably ain't going to still be able to get that housing off. I'm so scared I'm going to damage it that I'm just taking it easy on it. There is not an O-ring on the base of these Mokis. I looked at the schematic. So, no, she still won't budge. That's fine. We can leave it as it is. So the next step is we'll let this cool off for a little bit. And so I can handle it. Don't need it to be warm anymore. In fact, I can shut this oven off. There you go. And then we'll go ahead and start reassembly once I can hang on to it. So I'll bring it back when I get there, okay? Alright, so it's still a little warm. I went in and had supper real quick. But anyways, it's still a little warm. So let's see if they are lined up. Oh, look at that. And there we go. Oh. And of course that one's gonna pop out. When you are hitting it, you want to hit the outside race, not the inside. In case you didn't know that already. It's still a little warm, so that's why they kind of move around like that. Alright, so we got that in. And we got to make sure we get the front of the engine lined up correctly. And then we need to get the piston lined up with the crank here. So I'm just kind of moving it around. I know it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing here, but I kind of got it started. Sometimes you got to move things around a little bit here. getting it there. This is going to be a little more difficult than I thought it would be. I think it's because this snout ain't going down. I almost need a big socket to put on here. I wonder if my that 1/2 inch probably ain't gonna do it. Hold on a second, I'll be right back. Okay, so I went over to the shop and got a socket, and then there it goes. Just needs a little bit of encouragement. There we go. So that's the other thing I wanted to show you guys. When you start getting the black stuff out of your motor, usually what's happening is if it's not eating a bearing, I don't know if you can see in there or not, but there's a bronze bushing in there, and that's the bushing on the rod end. And when that thing starts to go, you can see the real tight tolerances in there. And what it's actually doing, once that bronze bushing goes bad, is it starts to eat away at the case, and that's where you're getting the black. It's metal in your motor. So yeah, that feels a heck of a lot better. Okay. Okay. There's that. There's that. There's that. I need 4 big bolts here. Looks like she needs to be twisted just a little bit. There we go. Maybe. Oh, I started. I don't remember if these were metric or not. I think they are. Yep. I go snug until I get them all tightened up, and then I go around and try to equalize the pressure here. Same with the head. I'm not going to see the motor run today, but I'm still waiting for another order to come from Red Oak RC for 4-stroke plugs. So, like I said, snug them down. so they feel like they're, and then pull it all together. I'm not putting heavy pressure on these. How much that moved. You might do this 3 or 4 times. See, it's still pulling itself in. That's good. That's good. Got the old arm torqueometer. There we go. Make sure she still spins nice and free. And then we have this. And then this might help get that on there. It's open. I need a smaller socket. Oh, my 1/2 inch will clear that. It should clear it. Oh, and that's got a split ring on it, so it'll expand. There it is. Just making sure it turns over nice and free. Yeah. There it goes. Okay. I do have a new piston coming for this if need be. Light taps. There you go. Get it stuck in. Make sure you get it stuck in your shirt too. Okay. All right. I am probably going to. I'm going to go ahead and replace these O-rings while I'm here because this thing is kind of loosey goosey. This is the low needle dial that goes here, and I mean that turns way too easy, so I'm just gonna get some black O-rings and put in there. I'll measure and stuff and put them in there, and then I gotta do a little bit of research because I'm not sure if that shim's supposed to be in there or not. I'm kind of thinking it isn't because these are supposed to be high compression motors, and it never did generate good compression. So I'm kind of curious as to whether it's even supposed to be in there. And I wonder what would happen if I put it in there. Without. I'm probably going to regret this. If it hits, it does not. How much compression can we make? Okay. I'm going to say not too bad. I think, because a lot of guys would put, the reason why I say that is a lot of guys would put, lower the compression on these motors, put a shim in it. And it didn't take much, and I've never seen one in a moki before. Not that I've had too many of them apart. But, by putting a shim in there, you could run it on higher nitro. That was more easily found here in the States. You gotta remember, this motor was made over in Europe, so it's FAI fuel over there is a little bit more common, so guys would do that, and I'm thinking that's why I had such low compression. So, but I do, like I said, I do have a new ring coming from RMJ, but it won't be here for at least another week. And to me, it's not that big of a deal to pop, since it's been apart, to pop the piston out and replace the ring if I need to. So, I mean, I guess I could throw a plug in it and see if it's any better now that the ring's not stuck. Sorry if this video is a little boring. I'm thinking in my head here. So, you know, I just try to make them as equal as possible. I'm going to go in a pattern on the head, because I've seen these things come loose. Not that it's a bad thing, but it could result in a dead stick. Loss of power. Not wanting to start. Okay, then I'll go around one more time. Make sure nothing loosened up. Okay. It will loosen up once we run it. Now, as far as braking goes on these, I know we're kind of getting a little ahead of ourselves here, but as far as running these in, I do run them rich. So that way the bearings get plenty of lubrication. Sorry, my leg itches. Oh. So that way this thing gets plenty of lubrication. So I will do an initial rich run. Get some heat built up in it, 5-10 minutes or so. Run a tank through it on the ground. And, you know, at a rich setting, and then from there you're ready to go, because we didn't change much, and you don't have to, you know, if we change the ring, we'll have to rebead this bed to see, you know, to see if, to get the ring seated, broken back in if we have to replace it. So, like I said, I do have one coming, so that way at least it's here. If it ends up not running, should Yeah, it's got, even without a, I don't know what happens if we put a glow plug in it. Oh. It ain't gonna, the fins are too deep. Yeah. That sounds way better. We'll see what happens when we get some feel in it. So, anyways, I'll finish this up, and I'll probably have to wait another day or so to get the get a new glow plug for it, and I'll get it back on the plane, and I'll go from there with it. So, I really want to upload this video tonight. Let's do that. Let's upload the video. So, you guys have a good one, and I want to thank everybody for watching. And come Friday or Saturday, I will probably have a video out on this thing running. So, anyways, we will talk at you guys later. Bye.